Hey guys, welcome back to Shalu's Artistry. In today's video, we are going to see how to convert an old nighty into a trendy top. So let's get started. Consider this to be your nighty material and we are going to cut it into 5 parts. This is going to be the collar portion. This is the upper part of your sleeve and this is the lower part. This is the upper part of your top and this is going to be the lower part. So let's cut it. Now let's see where to use them. This is going to come in the lower portion. This one is going to start from the shoulder. So this is the top portion for the sleeves. This sleeve is going to be from the armhole. This is the frill area that has to be attached with the sleeve. This is going to be your collar. And we are not using this portion, so let's keep it aside. Let's fold this nighty into 2 parts. So totally we have 4 layers in it. Let's start cutting it from the bottom. The measurement here is 14 inches and for seaming elements we are going to leave an extra of half an inch and totally we are going to measure 14.5 inches. And the measurement for the top layer is 13 inches. Along with this we are going to add another inch for the seaming elements on both the sides. So totally we are going to measure 14 inches for this. Now mark it and cut and remove it. Now it's time to measure and cut the collar. For this I've taken 4 inches and I'm going to measure it and cut it only on one layer. This is because if we take an excess material for the collar, then while measuring the sleeve, the material might be insufficient. Now let's cut and remove this excess portion. So keep it straight and measure the length. Totally we have 15 inches for sleeve. So from the bottom I'm taking 7 inches and from the top I've taken 8 inches. So mark the line and cut and remove it. This lower portion is going to be made as frills. And this is the top portion. It has 4 layers. Let's fold it into 2. And now let's make a straight line. Measure 8 inches from bottom. So totally we have 8 inches length and for the breadth I've taken 9 inches. So let's mark a straight line and from the top I'm going to make a slope of 3 inches and from this 3-inch slope I'm going to mark the sleeve. The sleeve is ready. Let's cut and remove it. This is the bottom portion. One side of it is already open and the other side is closed. So let's cut and open the other side as well. So this is how we are going to place it. We'll make frills and then attach both the top and the bottom portion of the sleeve. This is the top portion of your dress. The sides are not open, so let's cut and open it. Now there are 4 layers. Now let's start marking the shoulders. For this I've taken 7.5 inches. From top to bottom I'm going to take 6.5 inches. This is for the armhole. You can also take 7 inches if you want a loose dress. And for the chest I'm going to mark 9 inches and take an extra of 1 inch. And for the waist I'm going to take 8 inches and an extra of 1. Now join the dots together and make a line. For the armhole, let's take 3 inches down from the top and 1 inch in the center. And let's make a curve using those dots. After making the curve, let's make a slope of half an inch down. And now let's cut it. Now let's separate the tops. This is the back portion. I've taken 3 inch of neck length and 1.5 inch of depth and I'm going to mark a simple round neck. Now the back neck is ready. This is the front neck. It needs to be even more curvier. So for that we are going to add an addition of half an inch extra and make it even more curvy. For the neck, I'm going to take 3 inches and from there I'm going to make a V shape till 1 inch from down. This is going to be a deep V neck. Let's cut the V neck and divide it into 2 portions. These are the 2 halves. Now let's prepare the sleeves. For this we need 6 inches. I'm going to take an extra of 1 inch and mark 7 inch. Let's mark and cut it. This is the bottom portion of the sleeve where the frills would come. So I'm going to stitch a straight line 1/4 inch from the margin and parallel to that I'm going to make another stitch a straight line which is half an inch from the margin. Now we have stitched 2 lines on each of the sleeves. Once the sleeve is ready, each of the stitches are going to have 2 threads, and we are going to pull only one of them. Now grab only one thread from each of the lines and pull it gently and simultaneously, so you will start noticing that there is frills all over the sleeve. So using these straight lines we have made the frills. Now the frill and the top portion of the sleeve is ready. We are going to place it like this and start stitching it together. Now make a straight line in between these lines. It's better to stitch it between these lines so that you'll get a straight line properly. And if you feel that the cloth is moving here and there, you can just use a pin and secure it tightly. Once the stitching is over, you can remove the stitch which was put earlier, which is actually seen out. And also be careful not to remove the stitch which is put now. This is the bottom portion of your top. This is not opened anywhere, so let's cut and open it. Now we have 4 sides in it. Let's remove it into 2 parts. This is the back portion. We don't have to cut it anywhere, so let's fold and keep it aside. This is the front portion. We have to cut it in the center and make it into 2 equal parts. So totally we have 2 small portions for the front side and 1 big portion for the back side. So totally there are 3 parts for the lower portion of your dress. Now we are going to make frills in the bottom portion of your dress. We are going to do the same thing that we did for the sleeves. We are going to make 2 lines that is parallel to each other and pull the thread to make the frills. Now both the top and the bottom is ready. Let's keep it together and stitch it. This is the back portion and we are going to attach the lower portion of the back. Since the material is lengthier, it tends to move here and there. It's better to secure it with a pin and then start stitching it. And make the stitch between these lines so it will be a straight line. Now again you can start removing the stitch which is seen out. And if you want to make sure that the stitches are firm, it's better to go for putting 2 stitches instead of 1. Similarly, I've made frills on both the sides which is needed for the front side. Now we can keep it together and stitch it the same way just like we have stitched the sleeves and the back portion. Now we are going to make a layer that is going to come in the front portion. For this I have taken a dhoti. I have folded the fabric into 2 and it has 26 inches, which is 1 inch lesser than the main fabric. I have taken 7.5 inches for the shoulder. Now I am going to place another portion on it. This is a front layer. It has 14 inches. And now we are going to mark all the measurements. This is one of the easiest way to take the measurements, and for the lower portion, we are going to take the same measurement that we have taken for the chest. Now let's join all the measurements together. This portion is going to be used in the front side along with the main fabric. In the neck measurement, we have taken 3 inches in the main fabric, and for this one we are going to add 1 more inch and give 4 inches. The depth is also going to be a 4 inch, and together we'll be making a round neck in 4 into 4 inches. We are going to take an extra portion from the same fabric and stitch this round neck. Now the white fabric is ready. We are going to place the main fabric over this and secure the ends. Similarly, do the same thing over the other side also. Join the white fabric and the main fabric only till the frills. Below this, we are not going to join. Instead, we are going to fold this area on both the sides and also at the bottom, and we are going to put a stitch. Now, as you can see, I have put the stitch on all the 3 sides. So the bottom layer is ready. Now let's start stitching. We are going to join the inner fabric and the outer fabric of the front side. Slowly remove the pins and start stitching it. This is the place from where we have put the stitch, so mark it. Below this area we are not going to stitch. So keep the materials together, mark it correctly and stop the stitch right at that point. Now join the front side and the back side of the top. While joining the ends, make sure that the white fabric is not included. Keep it aside, pull it aside, and then stretch it and put a straight line over this. Now let's start stitching it. I'm going to start with the shoulder. The first shoulder is ready. Now moving on to the second shoulder. Now we have stitched the second shoulders as well. Open the fabric and keep it like this. This is the center portion of the shoulder. And this is the sleeve. We are going to fold the sleeve into two and mark the center portion of this. Place the center portion of the sleeve on the shoulder and start stitching it. And while stitching it, please do not pull over. Keep it gently and evenly and start stitching it. Now we have stitched one side of the sleeve. We are going to move to the second side. We have turned the fabric and now again stitch it. So the sleeve is completely stitched and it is ready. Now we are going to fold the sleeve into two and start securing it throughout, starting from the sleeve till the end of this fabric. Now we are going to stitch the entire fabric starting from the sleeve till the end of the dress. And here you can see the excess portion of the sleeve. So this portion can be marked and cut and removed. Now let's start stitching it. Remove the pins wherever it is needed. Stitch a straight line throughout the dress. And when the white fabric ends, pull the white fabric aside and put a straight line like this. So once the stitching is completely over, we can see that this white fabric is not attached in the ends. Now we are going to measure the length that is needed for the collar portion. So starting from the frill till the top of the neck, we are going to measure it. Let's start securing it. Now using a measuring tape, let's start measuring the portion. So totally we need 18 inches for this. We have to attach the collar on both the sides. So we need 18 into 2, 36 inches for this. So this is a collar portion that we already cut and kept it aside. We are going to open its ends and see whether it's going to be sufficient. Totally we need 36 inches, but there are only 29 inches in this. So we are going to need extra fabric for this. So we are going to use the excess fabric from the top portion. Let's mark 3 inches for the collar and make a straight line and cut it. So this measurement is going to be our template. Using this measurement, we are going to trace the same measurement throughout the other fabrics also. Okay, mark and cut the other end also. So after cutting, we have 4 pieces like this. We'll keep it straight and join all the ends. This fabric is of 19 inches. We are going to fold it into 2 like this and secure all the ends. Let's mark the 18 inch that we need and make a small curve like this. And you can use a scale and make this curve. Now let's cut and remove it. This is going to be our collar portion. Open the foldings and mark the center portions. This is the center portion of the collar. And this is the center portion of our main fabric. We are going to join the main fabric center and the collar center together. So place both the centers together and secure it with a pin. Similarly, secure the collar and the main fabric together, starting from the top neck till the frills. Slowly and gradually pull it together and secure it and make sure it's coming in the straight line. Now let's start stitching the collar. Wherever there is pin, I am removing it gently and I am starting to stitch again. And whenever we remove the pin, the material tends to move out of its place. So every time we remove a pin, we have to hold it firmly and then start stitching again. We have almost reached the end of this collar, so let's attach this end also. Now the collar is completely stitched. If you want this to be firm, you can put another line. Now let's fold the bottom portion and stitch it. So the bottom portion is also ready. All our stitching works are over now. As a final touch, I'm going to attach this rope to it. I've stitched it. If you want, you can buy it outside. Attach it to the frills. And now the dress is completely ready. All the stitching works are over. Now our old nightie has become a beautiful top. If you like this idea, give a thumbs up to my video and share it with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, subscribe Shalu's Artistry for more such videos. And also there are other nighty videos. Do watch it.